Chapter 22, we help to start a store. Who can use the mails to best advantage? To what businesses and for what purposes is it best adapted? You hear that question asked frequently, and the answers are as varied as the people who give them. Our own experience indicates that anyone who has something to sell can use the mails in one way or another to further that sale. That point was well illustrated in the experience of a young fellow who came to us for help some years ago. He was assistant to a resident buyer of ladies' ready-to-wear dresses. In the course of their buying for out-of-town stores, they ran across innumerable odd lots of dresses that could be picked up at discounts of anywhere from 40 to 75% of the regular wholesale price. Some of them were original models which had been copied and now were no longer needed. Others were samples, slightly soiled from being exhibited by mannequins. But most were odd sizes of regular models, perfect in every respect, but leftovers. The trouble was that there were only a few of each, not enough for any merchant to advertise. And anyway, by the time the buyer could write one of his out-of-town stores and get permission to send along the dresses, they would probably have been snapped up by someone else. So most of the out-of-town buyers passed them up. But some 10 years before, the head of this resident buyer's firm had conceived the idea of picking up a few of the best of these bargains, gathering them together in his own office, and then handing out cards telling of the bargains to girls working in nearby offices. It did not take long to work up quite a following, for by judicious picking he was able to offer every dress at less than its regular wholesale price. In 10 years' time, he was selling $1,000 worth of dresses a week. But while this proof of Emerson's famous saying was enough for the head of the concern, our younger friend felt that the world could be brought to their door far more quickly by finding some better and more comprehensive way of telling people of the bargains to be had there. To him, the sideline seemed far more important than the resident buying and offered greater possibilities of development. But the boss was satisfied with the progress they were making, and the young fellow not only had nothing on which to make an independent start, but there was also a wife and child at home who had to eat. Eventually, however, our young friend, whom we shall call Jones, persuaded a couple of his friends to put up $3,000 to back the idea, and with this $3,000 he launched out on his own. Mind you, with this $3,000 he had not only to stock an office with dresses, pay rent, and help, but in addition, he and his family had to live on it while the business was getting started. So there was not much left for advertising. Yet some advertising must be done, for it was essential that trade start at once because every week ate into the small capital for unproductive expenses. After long and prayerful consideration, it was decided to risk $20 a week as an advertising appropriation, and we were entrusted with the spending of it. Not much you can do with $20 a week to launch a new business, perhaps you will say. And yet $20 can be made to cover 1,000 letters when they are mailed third class. And that is exactly what we did with it. We got names of business girls feeling that they require more dresses than the average housewife, yet have less time to shop around for bargains. And to 1,000 business girls each week, we sent one of the following letters. Dear Madam, you know that being well-dressed is not merely a matter of money. Right among your own acquaintances, you can pick out a dozen women who spend more than you do on their clothes and yet look far less well-dressed. Yet you're spending twice as much for your clothes as you should. How can we prove it? By giving you two smart, new, modish dresses, lovelier, more exquisite than any in your wardrobe for the price you now pay for one. Impossible? No, indeed. You know what bargains you can pick up even in the regular stores by continually shopping around. Imagine then what your opportunities would be if you were continually shopping among the dress manufacturers themselves. Yet that is what we are daily, hourly doing as resident buyers for 12 out-of-town department stores. Every day, we pick up original model samples, close outs of which only 2 or 3 are left in stock, or designers' model gowns, and because the manufacturers have no time to bother over single dresses, we get them at such bargains that we can pass them on to you at actually less than the wholesale prices. That means we can offer you the prettiest, smartest dresses to be found in the big stores. Beautiful frocks of the finest fabrics that you'd pay them $25 to $85 for, at from $7.50 to $29. And not one among them that isn't priced at less than half what you'd pay for the same dress in any store. Not only that, but you have a bigger selection to choose from in all sizes, all colors, all kinds of materials. There are beautiful summer frocks of fascinating freshness, chic, modish street dresses, exquisite afternoon gowns of the finest fabrics, pretty, dainty house dresses. And remember, many of these are individual, specially designed models, not the kind that is turned out by the thousand and that you meet on every passerby. They are distinctive, charming, unusual, not only in price, but in that far more elusive quality style. Come and see for yourself. There is no cost, no slightest obligation to buy. Just drop in and shop around. See all the authoritative new models. Satisfy yourself that these are the wonderful values we claim. Compare the prices with those you've found in the stores. But come soon if you can, for while we get in new and captivating models every day, and there is never a time when you can't pick up some delightful bargain, yet the showing we have now is our best. If you want the pick of it, come soon, while the choicest creations, the loveliest and most distinctive designs are still here. You will find the ladies in charge always glad to show you, never urgent that you buy. Sincerely yours. Dear Madam, every woman, no matter how much money she spends on her clothes, likes to pick up special bargains when she can do it without sacrificing quality or style. You know that. You know, too, that being well-dressed is not so much a matter of money as it is of having the gift for picking out chic, modish garments with style to them. Many women have that gift, more have not. If you are one of the lucky ones that have it, you can save half the price on every dress you buy. At the same time, you can get individual, specially designed models, made up for samples or designers' models, of special materials and workmanship. You know what bargains you pick up occasionally, even in the stores, just by shopping around. Imagine then what you could do if you were continually shopping among the dress manufacturers and designers themselves. Yet that is what we are daily, hourly doing as resident buyers for a dozen out-of-town department stores. Every day we pick up original model dresses, designers' model gowns or coats. And because the manufacturers have no time to bother with single dresses, we get them at such bargains that we can pass them on to you at actually less than their wholesale prices, half what they would cost in any regular store. Not only that, but we give you a better selection to choose from, in all sizes, in the most fashionable colors and materials. There are lovely fall and winter frocks, chic, modish street dresses, exquisite afternoon and evening gowns, pretty, dainty house dresses, smart coats and wraps. And of course, there are all the regular models among them too, just like those in the stores. Only ours are priced at half the store prices. For in our rounds of the manufacturers, we pick up many a special little closeout, many an odd lot at 30, 40, even 50% off the regular wholesale prices. Come in and see for yourself. Patty Prim invites you. There'll be no cost, no slightest urge or obligation to buy. Just do as we do at the manufacturer's showrooms. Shop around. See all the latest and most distinctive models. Compare the prices, the designs, the quality, with anything you can find in the stores. Come soon if you can, for while we get in new and captivating models every day, and there is never a time when you can't pick up some delightful bargain, yet the showing we have now is our best. If you want the pick of it, come soon while the choicest creations, the loveliest and most distinctive designs are here. You will find the ladies in charge always glad to show you, never urgent that you buy. Sincerely yours. P.S. Remember, we are on the 6th floor now, in a much larger suite. Number 603. Take elevators 2 or 3. We are directly in front of the center elevator. Dear Madam, what size dress do you wear? If it's a 16, an 18, or a 36, one can save you half its cost and at the same time give you as distinctive, as stylish, as unusual a model as you can find the whole length of the avenue. Even on the larger sizes, I can sometimes do this, but if you wear a 16, an 18, or a 36, you can always find your size here. You know how the dress manufacturers work. Their designers submit scores of different models each season. Beautifully made, hand-worked, specially designed models. Some are discarded because they cost too much to make up. some because they don't happen to appeal to the manufacturer's fancy. Only a few are copied and made up in quantity. The rest are sold for what they will bring. These are the original models we offer you. These are the dresses that, in our daily rounds of the manufacturers as resident buyers for out-of-town stores, we pick up at such low prices that we can offer them to you at half, or less than half, what similar garments would cost you in any store. There's only one or two of each, so no big store can take the time to bother with them. But by getting them from so many different manufacturers, we have a complete selection always on hand. Come in and see them, if only to see what a range of lovely styles and materials they cover. Frequently, they are made up in the larger sizes, so there is every chance that out of our 400 dresses, you'll find just the style, just the material, and just the size you want. Costs nothing to see them anyway, and it's certainly worthwhile to see if you can save half and still get as lovely a dress as ever you've bought for double the price. Sincerely, Dear Madam, have you ever had some friend in the dress business take you around to a manufacturer's and let you pick the exact model you wanted at the wholesale price? Remember what a bargain that was, how far below the regular retail store figures it was priced? Well, that is the service we offer you on all your dresses and coats. We don't take you to one manufacturer. We do better. We bring the best from the stocks of 100 manufacturers here for you to choose from at wholesale prices. Now, here is the point. As resident buyers for a number of out-of-town stores, we are making the rounds of the manufacturers every day. You know yourself what bargains you can pick up even in the stores just by shopping around. Imagine, then, what we can do when we are daily shopping among the manufacturers themselves. Whenever they bring out some special, or whenever they have only a few of a style left, or whenever they finish copying their designers' model gowns, we get them. At such a time, the manufacturers, who cannot afford to bother with such small lots, are willing to let us have them at our own price. The result is that we can offer you many of the season's loveliest and most distinctive models, in all sizes, in the most fashionable colors and materials, at actually less than their regular wholesale prices. Come and see for yourself. It costs nothing to be shown, and if you can save half on all your dresses, you want to know it. Be sure to look here before you buy that next dress. Sincerely. From the very first week, those letters brought in a fair amount of business, some $200 to $300 worth each week. And the bargains were so real and so evident that many came back with friends. Jones had figured that it would probably be a year before he could show any net profit, after allowing for the cost of getting started and for his own living expenses. But at the end of the first 7 months, he had not only earned enough to cover all those expenses, but his books showed a net profit of $18 besides. Not much, of course, but from that time on it was one steady growth. By the end of the first year, his sales had mounted through consistent advertising to the volume it had taken the original firm 10 years to attain, $1,000 a week. There were special sales now and then, of course, and on these the list of customer names made the letters even more productive than the regular ones. Here are 3 of these specials that produced unusually good results. Here's our first clearance sale. 200 chic, modish dresses, all of the latest winter models, from 33% to 50% less than wholesale prices. The manufacturers are finishing up their spring stocks now, and by the end of the month they will be turning over to us all their sample dresses, designers' model gowns, etc. in the latest spring styles. Nobody will want to buy winter dresses then, so we must clean out our entire stock of more than 200 winter models before the spring gowns start coming in. That means that for this 1 month, we're going to forget all about profits. Sell everything at exact cost, and exact cost with us is little more than half wholesale prices. For we never buy anything that is not a bargain, and in our daily rounds of the manufacturers as resident buyers for 15 out-of-town department stores, we are able to pick up some wonderful bargains for ourselves. Modish street dresses, chic afternoon frocks, beautiful evening gowns, they are all here, more than 200 of them, in all sizes, for you to choose from. And remember, they are specially designed models, most of them, distinctive not only in price but in that far more elusive quality style. Come and look them over. It is an opportunity such as you will find in no store that we have ever seen. Better come quickly, though, while our stock is at its best. Every single dress in the lot is a remarkable bargain. But by coming now, you can get that wide choice of styles and designs that every woman wants, and that will be impossible after the stock has been picked over. Dear Madam, name your own price, said the manufacturer. And we did. This manufacturer had thousands of dollars tied up in the new fall and winter models of ladies' dresses. A big manufacturer's and a good one. Overstocked with beautiful goods in the styles and colorings sponsored at the recent Paris openings. Vast quantities of them, but money needed. The goods must be sold, he decided, at once. We picked out 300 of his choicest models and named him a price on them. It was accepted without cavil or question. The result is that we can offer you some of the prettiest, some of the most exquisitely styled and fashioned dresses to be found along the avenue at not merely less than retail, but actually at little more than manufacturing cost prices. A windfall, not just for us, but for you. Understand, these are new fall and winter models. New fabrics, new linings, the latest versions of the strikingly new silhouettes that were expected to appear in department stores throughout the coming season. No odd lots or clean always. New goods, the Paris accepted models complete. You can't tell the quality story from the printed page, of course. You can from the garments. From a glance at the seams, hand-stitched. From the soft, beautiful, rich fabrics, from their splendid style, and, we might add, from the maker's reputation. Come and see for yourself. Costs nothing to be shown, and anytime you can pick up some of the season's loveliest models at wholesale prices, it's worth looking into at least. Better come soon, while the stock is at its best, while you can have a wide choice of models and designs. Cordially yours. Dear Madam, every season when the rush of order taking is over, the big dress manufacturers draw a deep, long breath and begin to straighten up their stocks preparatory to making up their samples for the next season. And they always find dresses set to one side during the rush for one reason or another, reserved on some salesman's request for a particularly good customer and then canceled, or marked hold and the reason forgotten, or often just pushed out of sight by accident. These dresses are generally the very best of the stock, but they have to be disposed of quickly without regard for cost to make room for the coming season's stock. For space is more valuable than clothing. If there were more of them, and if they ran a complete line of sizes, the big department stores would snatch them up like lightning. But each manufacturer has only a few, perhaps 6 or 8, perhaps a dozen. So the department stores can't bother with them. As resident buyers for a dozen out-of-town department stores, we are constantly calling on scores of the manufacturers, and by selecting the best of these dresses from each, we make up a complete stock that for distinctiveness of design, for fashionable colors and quality materials, can scarcely be equaled along the whole length of the avenue. And the prices, you know yourself what bargains you can pick up even in the regular stores by shopping around. Imagine then what prices we get on these close-out lots from the manufacturers. A third off, even a half off the regular wholesale price is nothing out of the ordinary, so that we can pass these dresses on to you at half or less than half of what you'd pay for the same models in any retail store. And while the manufacturers sell them out because it's the end of the manufacturing season, the wearing season has only just begun. The manufacturers are starting now to work on summer dresses, and we are just getting the best of their spring models. Colorful frocks of fascinating freshness, beautiful gowns of the finest fabrics, costumes for every mood and occasion that would cost you in any store from $25 to $75. And we can give them to you for half or less than half price. Actually, less than the wholesale price. Whatever material you have set your heart on, crepe de chine, canton, Roshanara, jersey, you will find it here. Tan, navy, gray, green. Whatever color you fancy, you will find it among these charming, captivating dresses in some distinctive model. They are a showing of all the authoritative new modes. They make your spring shopping one delightful adventure. Come and see for yourself. Never mind what we say. Come and prove the truth of it with your own eyes. There is no obligation to buy. Just drop in and shop around. Costs nothing to be shown, and if you can save half on all your spring wardrobe or get twice as many dresses for the money as you had expected, you want to know it. So look in here any day before you buy that next dress. Sincerely yours. In the course of the next year, he found it necessary to double the size of his office. A year later, another office was added, followed soon after by a third. That is one answer to what businesses can use the mails profitably. We have seen so many others that it is hard to pick the best examples of those worthy of inclusion here. Perhaps one of the best would be on a boy's suit, for these are especially difficult to sell by mail, because it is so hard to find a list of people in the right circumstances with boys of an age to buy your suits. We solved that by arranging with the publishers of a magazine that appealed to boys of 10 to 14 years to use their list, and we mailed them the following letters. Dear parent, you know how an active boy can go through a pair of knickers. Seems no time before the seat is worn through or one knee has a big, ragged gap in it. We used to think that nothing short of cast iron would keep a healthy youngster covered. But over in England, the Admiralty was faced with this same problem over sailors' trousers. Sliding down ropes and climbing around boats and getting soaked with salt water are even harder on cloth than the average boy, and keeping sailors in trousers was one of the Admiralty's big expenses until a few years ago. Now they have perfected a fine woolen weave so tough and sturdy that it outwears any ordinary cloth 4 and 5 times. We heard about this new weave and got some to try in our boys' suits, and found that it defies even a boy's ingenuity to wear through. Trees, briars, fences, boards, nothing seems able to break those long, strong strands of pure virgin wool. Yet this fine fabric is good-looking as only an English worsted can be, with all the style and swank that none but the real, imported woolen can show. No imitation will tailor so superbly. None will hold its shape and keep its fine appearance in spite of hardest wear half so long. I am going to send you in the next few days a complete new spring suit for that boy of yours, made of this fine imported English worsted, so you can see for yourself how good-looking and becoming it is, how perfectly it fits, how well it sets off the manly lines of his figure, and yet how it will wear. I am going to send this suit to you with no obligation on your part, for you to examine and try on and actually see the difference between it and the suit your boy is now wearing. There's just one thing. I can't send it until you tell me how old he is and his height and weight. You can do that in a jiffy on the enclosed postcard. When I send you the suit, there's absolutely no obligation on your part to pay for it. You can return it for any reason, or for no reason at all. You see, this factory of ours specializes on boys' suits. Our company has been making boys' clothes for more than 100 years, so we know all the things a healthy boy can do to a suit. Better even than you do. We know how to sew seams and buttons so securely that even a boy can't rip them. We know how to tailor a suit so as to give his active arms and legs free play, and yet have a style and a set that will make your youngster look his manly best. But until we found this imported English worsted, we didn't know a cloth he couldn't wear through. Now we have found it. So, as an introductory special, we offer you this new spring suit of imported English worsted, pure wool and all wool. The color is a rich, dark blue. The style is up to the minute as Fifth Avenue designers can make it. The tailoring true Smith & Smith, cut and sewed as only tailors who have been making boys' suits all their lives can do it. Coat, vest, and trousers, all three at the low, direct from factory to you price of only $13.85. And in addition, we will send you an extra pair of knickers, free. Not that your boy will need them. He will never wear out the first pair, but so you can alternate when one is being cleaned. This is a special introductory offer. It is made only to a select list, and it is not transferable. We make it to a few families of influence, as an inducement to them to try this new imported English worsted, knowing that once its reputation spreads, we shall have no difficulty getting all the orders we can handle. No money, no risk. Just mail the enclosed card without money. By return parcel post will come a suit of deep blue English worsted, pure wool, in the exact size for your boy. At the direct from factory to you price of only $13.85, and with it, free, an extra pair of knickers of the same fine fabric. Try the suit on your youngster. Compare it with any other he has, any you can find in stores. If for any reason you are then willing to part with it, send it back. If you can equal it anywhere for less than $25, send it back. Send. But if you feel as we do, and we have been making boys' clothes for more than 100 years that you are saving at least $10 in that suit, then send us only $13.85 and keep the knickers free. No money, just the postcard. But remember, it's good only if mailed at once. We have enough imported English worsted for only 450 suits. It will be 8 weeks before we can get another lot. You will mail the enclosed card now or you will be too late. Sincerely yours. Dear parent, will you give me a little inside information about that boy of yours? Just his height and weight and how old he is? I want to send him a new spring suit of imported English worsted to examine free of charge. But I can't send one in his exact size without knowing his height and weight. In the past 50 years, we have fitted more than 1 million boys in all parts of the world with Smith & Smith suits. Many of them have never worn any other make, for Smith & Smith suits are the kind of well-made, perfectly fitting clothes that every parent likes to see on his youngster. You see, in our 106 years as tailors to boys, we have learned how to give a perfect set to a boy's coat while still leaving free play to arms and shoulders. How to fasten seams and buttons so even the most active boy can't tear them out. How to fashion a suit that not only wears well but looks well on him up to the very last. But here, I believe, is the greatest improvement ever made in a boy's suit. A new imported English worsted that won't wear out. Actually, we mean it. It won't wear out. Your boy will outgrow it before he can wear it out. It is a cloth that was perfected for the British Admiralty. You know the hard usage a sailor's trousers are put to. Sliding down ropes, scurrying around boats, scrubbing decks, and getting soaked with salt water. They never could find a cloth that would stand it until they made this. Now they can't wear it out. Of a deep blue, soft, and rich looking, there is no way of duplicating the rare beauty, the durability and wearing quality of this genuine imported English worsted. No imitation can wear so superbly, can retain its style and shape after hard usage as can this English cloth. Carefully cut, beautifully finished, and tailored as only Smith & Smith know how to tailor boys' clothes, this suit gives the appearance of a custom-made, and a wear that has never been equaled. Yet our direct from factory to you introductory price, good for just 10 days, is not $25, not even $20, but only $13.85. We don't believe you could find its equal in tailoring and fine appearance alone within $10 of that low figure. How can we do it? Solely by cutting out every unnecessary item of overhead and middlemen, and selling expense and selling direct from factory to you. In style, in tailoring, in fine appearance, and most of all, in wear, this suit is worth $25. That we are not charging you that figure is due only to the savings we effect by selling and shipping direct from the factory, and letting no unnecessary item of expense come between us and you. Won't you fill in your boy's height, weight, and age on the enclosed postcard and mail it at once? Then we can send him one of these fine, new, imported English worsted in his exact size by prepaid parcel post for a week's free examination. You can see it then at your leisure, with no insistent clerks at your side. If it isn't the best-looking suit you have ever seen on your boy, send it back. If you can find its equal in style or cut or fine appearance at less than $10 more, send it back. Doesn't that strike you as a fair offer? We believe it is so unusually fair that all the suits we have cloth for will be snapped up within a week at this bargain price of only $13.85. And it will be 2 months before we can get another lot from England. Hadn't you better drop your card in the mail right now while you can take advantage of this special offer? Sincerely yours. P.S. If your card is received within 10 days, we shall put in an extra pair of knickers, free. Not that your boy will need them, he will never wear out the first pair, but so you can alternate while one is being cleaned. Like the boys' suit appeal was one we used on a Book of the Month club for boys and girls. The letter followed the general lines of the one we used on the Junior Classics back in the days of Collier's, but the circular was new and different. Here is the letter. The circular follows. Dear parent, You know how the little folks just love a good story? How they'd rather listen to one than eat or play or sleep? How they beg you sometimes to tell them a story, to read to them. They will read something. And it is what they read now that determines what they are to be. It is their heroes, their ideals, the men and women who are made to seem to them wonderful and worthy to pattern after, that form your children's characters, that leave the greatest impress upon their afterlife. If you could pick from all the literature of the world the books that have helped most in molding the characters of our greatest men and women, if you could tell what books would be of most help in later school and college work, you would not hesitate for a minute in getting them for your children, no matter what their cost. Few parents have the time to pick such a library. In fact, few educators could do it without years of reading and research. But now, after 2 years of preparation, it has been done for you, with the collaboration of a board of editors of such worldwide fame, with such distinctive qualifications that libraries, schools, and colleges all over the country are as one in acclaiming the idea and subscribing to its service. The folder enclosed gives you the names of these world-renowned educators. The basis of their plan is that the real purpose of schools and colleges is not to cram the student's head full of facts and figures, but to make him think. That this can be done, you who have listened to the eager questions of your own children know. But what you may not know so well is how quickly the right books start their avid young minds questing along paths that lead to happiness and success, where trashy literature and comic supplements all too often start them on the opposite road. If the greatest child experts in the world offered to direct your children's reading in such a way as to start their education right, you would gladly avail yourself of their help, no matter what the cost. 6 of the greatest experts in America in child training have made this offer, but instead of having to pay them big fees, you pay only for the books they choose. And even these you get, not at their regular bookstore prices, but for from 40% to 60% under those figures. How does the Junior Foundation accomplish this? Very simply, the board of editors has divided the children into 3 groups. The first group is for boys and girls 5, 6, 7, and 8 years of age. The second is for boys and girls 9, 10, and 11 years of age. And the third group is for boys and girls 12, 13, and 14 years of age. For each group, the board selects one book each month, the one best fitted to win the children's interest, to inspire them with right ideals, to give the best groundwork for their school studies. This book is printed in the big size, in large readable type, on excellent paper, handsomely bound in cloth, tough enough for hard usage, and beautifully illustrated in colors by artists who know how to reach the child imagination. The books will in every case be the equal in size, in binding, in printing, and in illustrations of those you find in stores costing as much as $5 each. But instead of $5, members of the Junior Foundation will receive them for less than $1.43 each. Why? Because where the storebook is printed in lots of 1 or 2,000, ours will be printed in runs of 25,000 and 50,000. Where the retailer has all the usual expenses of big stocks, high rentals, and selling costs, the Junior Foundation deals direct with you by mail. You get your books at but little more than actual printing and binding costs. The enclosed certificate is an invitation to enter your child as a charter member of the Junior Foundation. It is worth real money, not only because it brings you the guidance of 6 of the greatest educators in America, not only because it enables you to get the finest illustrated editions of the right books at about half price or less, but because it protects you from any future increase in price that it may be found necessary to effect. Will you fill it in, put your name and address on it, and drop it in the mail? It will bring to you each month a book your children can be proud of, a book that will hold their interest and yet educate them as well, a book that will be the start of a real library and the foundation of a fine character. Ben Franklin used to say, that schools give us the rudiments, but books teach us how to think. No one can be truly educated or successful in life unless he is a reader of books. No price is too high to pay for the right training of your children. But when the best training is also the simplest and the cheapest, it pays to lose no time in starting it. Your children are reading something now. They will be reading other somethings tomorrow. They cannot start too soon reading the right sort of books. Will you make that start possible soon by mailing back the enclosed certificate today? The return envelope requires no postage. Sincerely yours. And we must give our prize letter the one that pulled the highest returns we have ever heard of, 200% in actual number of books ordered. Of course, there is a catch in it, as in all those phenomenally high returns we have seen. The catch is that there were only 1,500 names, and they were of people who had written Pelly expressing an interest in his article when first it appeared in the American magazine. We could not do the same with any other list. In fact, we could not get more than ordinary returns with other lists. But from those of 1,500 letters, we got orders for 3,000 copies of Pelly's book. Here is the letter. Dear Miss Smith, may we send you the aftermath to 7 Minutes in Eternity by William Dudley Pelly, telling the outgrowth of his extraordinary experience, together with a special autographed gift copy of the real facts of that experience? You understand, of course, that to a general audience like the readers of a magazine, he could not tell the whole story. Facts so startling as to sound unbelievable to the average man had to be deleted. We have persuaded Mr. Pelly to retell the episode, giving not only everything that happened at the time, but, what is more wonderful still, the aftermath, which he has never before allowed to be published. We are putting the story and the aftermath into a little gift book, together with an interesting biographical sketch of Mr. Pelly and his latest portrait. But here, we believe, is the most important fact. Mr. Pelly has promised to autograph the first 1,000 of these little gift books at no extra charge. I am writing to you first, Miss Medland, because you expressed such an interest in the article when it first came out. I know you'd enjoy the complete story yourself, and more especially the aftermath. If you would like also to get some for gifts to your friends, I'll be glad to send you as many of the autographed copies as I can, provided you order right away. I'll have to make it first come, first served, of course. But I am giving you first chance. The price? You'll smile when you hear it. 25 cents a copy, postpaid. But the price is the same for autographed copies or for plain, and you get the autographed copies only if you order right away. I'll hold a few of the autographed copies for you for 1 week, but no longer. May I hear from you at once, please, by letter or wire? Sincerely. As different from merchandise and books as anything we have ever tried is selling stock. We had always refused to have anything to do with stock fluctuations because, having been burned a few times ourselves, we had a fellow feeling for the victims and did not care to be a party to adding any new ones to the list. But upon one occasion, a friend persuaded us that we should be doing the public a service if we helped him to place a certain issue, and we finally fell for his arguments. Here was the result. Dear Sir, I should like to buy $10 worth of your personal prestige, and here's an option certificate for 1 share of bonus stock as payment in advance. Here's the way of it. You have heard, of course, of John Jones, director of the Blank Theaters. You know that under his skillful direction, these great motion picture enterprises have proven tremendously profitable, the Blank alone being reputed to earn 100% each year upon their equity. But have you seen his new theater, the Jones Theater, the largest and finest in the world, that is now nearing completion at the corner of Blank Ave and Blank Street, New York, right in the heart of the new theater district? There are only 6 other first-run motion picture theaters in this whole square district, and so great is the concentration of amusement-loving population in and around Manhattan that these 6 theaters are filled to capacity 4 times each on Saturdays and Sundays, and approximately 2.25 times a day on every other day in the week. Naturally, their earnings have been so large that the securities of these enterprises are held very closely by capitalists. But Mr. Jones wants to popularize the Blank Theater, and he realizes that the surest way to do that is to let the public share in these generous earnings on exactly the same basis as the capitalists. In fact, if it can be done, he would like the general public to be the only capitalist behind the enterprise. His idea is to finance the Blank Theater in the same way that the Smith and Brown theaters in Chicago were financed by the public a few years ago. These ventures proved so profitable that the preferred stock was presently retired at a handsome premium, and 5 shares of a new common stock were given for each share of the original common. This new common stock now sells for around $70 a share. Which brings me to the subject of this letter. To start the subscription successfully, we need a few representative names from each section. Your name has been suggested as one that would be of help. So I am writing to you today to offer you free, as a bonus, 1 share of the common stock of the blank theater in return for your sending in your subscription now for 3 shares of Class A ownership stock. This common stock is selling right now for around $10 a share. The Class A stock for $40 a share. The Class A stock is entitled to cumulative preferred dividends of an additional $1 per share. It cannot be called for less than $50 a share. Even if the theater should be filled to only half capacity, its estimated net earnings are almost 5 times the total dividends payable on the Class A stock, leaving approximately $4 a share available each year for dividends on the common. As for your money investment, it's safe enough. For the Class A stock is protected not only by the business itself, but also by the real estate in the building. As long ago as the early part of 1925, William Green, one of the leading real estate men of New York, appraised the value of the entire completed property at $8,950,000, giving a total value to the company's property after installation of fixtures of over $10 million. Real estate values have been increasing rapidly in this section, and it is not unlikely that the property today would be appraised at a considerably higher figure. So the real estate alone makes your investment in the Class A stock safe, even if the business itself, the goodwill of the Jones name, and the contract with entertainers and producing companies are valued at nothing. So much for the safety. The important part is what you get from your money. From $120 invested in 3 shares of Class A stock in the blank theater, you should get, first, $3.50 a share each year, or a total of $10.50, 8.75% dividends on your money. Second, an additional $1 per share after the first dollar of dividends has been paid on the common stock, bringing your total dividends on the Class A up to $13.50. That is the 11.25% of dividends on your money. Third, if you use the enclosed option certificate within 10 days, you get, in addition, 1 share of common stock free with every 3 shares of Class A stock that you reserve now. This common stock has a present market value around $10, but if the estimated earnings based on only half capacity houses are anywhere near correct, approximately $4 earnings should be available each year as dividends on every share of common. The Smith & Brown common stock, which was given away in the same way as this, returned over $400 a share to investors. So when I said that I wanted to buy $10 worth of your personal prestige, I was putting it conservatively. The enclosed option certificate should be worth many times $10, but it will be worth that to you only if you use it at once. In a few weeks, the blank theater will be opened. When that is done, when people have seen it thronged with the thousands of enthusiastic followers, when the wireless is again broadcasting Jones and his gang, the selling of what stock is left will be no problem. In fact, the problem will probably be to find any to sell, for once the theater is opened, the value of the stock should go up by leaps and bounds. For that reason, I've had to put a limit on the time for which the enclosed option certificate is good. Mail it within 10 days, and the prestige of your name will be worth to us the value of the stock. After that, it would be too late to do us good. So you'll forgive me if I seem insistent, but will you use the option certificate now? And thank you most heartily and sincerely for your help. Appreciatively yours. Let's see a few more examples. 1. Safety. The safest security on Earth is the Earth itself. And when your particular section of Earth is located in the middle of that most densely populated island on Earth, Manhattan Island, right in the heart of New York's new theater district. And when you have built upon it the largest theater in the world, with a seating capacity of 6,000 and a spacious rotunda capable of accommodating 3,000 more, then indeed, can you be said to have safety in its ultimate form? That is what we offer you in the blank theater. The popularity of motion pictures and the limited number of first-run theaters has made investments in these projects extremely attractive. Usually the securities of these enterprises are held very closely by capitalists, and hence their earnings are not made public. It is stated upon good authority, however, that the Smith and Brown theaters earn 100% each year on their equity. 2. The hub of 9 millions. In the 5 boroughs of New York City alone, 5,873,356 persons make their residence. In the surrounding suburbs, nearly 3 million more are only a few minutes from Manhattan. Each day, railroad and steamship lines bring thousands of visitors to the city. They are travelers from the 4 corners of the world who are pleasure-bent and out for a holiday. This concentration of a huge population affords an opportunity to amusement project that is unique in history. A public craving entertainment is spending millions of dollars each year. And the vortex of it all is the Times Square district in New York. Here, the theatrical business has become a giant industry. There are 70 theaters in the Times Square district at the present time. Of them, however, there are only 6 so-called first-run moving picture theaters. As a result, these theaters fill their capacity 4 times on Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays. The general average throughout the week in all of these theaters is approximately 2 1/4 times the capacity each day. 3. Location. The blank theater will occupy a large part of the block bounded by blank streets and blank avenues. It has a frontage of 290 feet on blank street and 190 feet on blank street. This property is owned outright by the corporation, and in addition to that, it has a lease for a term of 84 years on an entrance through the blank hotel at the northeast corner of blank avenue and blank street, with a frontage of 40 feet on blank avenue and 100 feet on blank street. The theater is located 1 block from blank and blank street station of the blank line, and 1 block from the blank street station of the blank line. Blank Avenue surface cars pass the door and the Blank Avenue surface cars are but a few yards away. With the general uptown movement of the theaters, the Blank Theater will be in the heart of the theatrical district for many years to come. The district bounded by and blank avenues and blank streets seems destined to become a district given over almost exclusively to theaters. The Blank Theater will be in almost the exact center. 4. What others have done. In Chicago, the Smith and Brown theaters were financed by the public a few years ago. The common stock of this enterprise was given away as a bonus with the preferred stock. Later, the preferred stock was retired at a handsome premium, and 5 shares of a new common stock were given for each share of the original common stock. The new common stock now sells on the New York curb for around $70 per share. Investments in theatrical properties are unusually safe. The bonds and preferred stock are protected by very desirable real estate. Even if the theatrical enterprise itself should fail, the real estate usually can be sold at a profit. If the enterprise is successful, the common stockholders share in the huge profits that always come to hits in the theatrical business. 5. The Class A stock. The Class A stock of the Blank Theater Corporation is preferred both as to assets and dividends. Each share of Class A stock entitles the owner to a $50 interest in both the building and the business. New York real estate is a sound, conservative investment, and in this section the values are increasing rapidly. When the division of the yearly earnings takes place, each share of Class A stock first receives $3.50 each year. At the present quoted price of $40, this is 8.75%. This $3.50 each year is paid before any dividends are paid on the common stock. Then, after each share of common stock has been paid, $1.50, the Class A stockholders participate in the earnings again and receive another $1 per share. That increases the dividend to $4.50 per share per year, or 11.25% on the present price. The $3.50 dividend is cumulative. The corporation agrees to pay dividends on this Class A stock at the rate of $3.50 per share each year from December 1st, 1925. No dividends are paid to the holders of the common stock until the $3.50 per share is paid on the Class A stock from December 1st, 1925. Each year, 15% of the net earnings of the corporation are set aside as a sinking fund with which to purchase the Class A stock. It is paid for at the rate of $50 per share. The dividends are payable March 1st, June 1st, September 1st, and December 1st. 6. The director. Of the 6 first-run motion picture theaters in the Times Square district, Jones has been the director of four. Probably the entertainment in those four theaters is the standard by which all other moving picture entertainments are judged. Yet all were conceived and executed by the one man, Jones. Now, the same man who created these entertainments will find his fullest scope in the presentations of the Blank Theater. The largest theater in the world will seat over 6,000 persons. When you contrast this with the capacities of the other houses, formerly under the direction of Jones, you will see that it is possible to spend considerably more on programs and still make a far larger net profit than the facilities of the other theaters permitted. Under the stage, a complete broadcasting room is being built, and Jones and his gang will continue the entertainment to radio fans that has brought thousands of patrons to the Blank Theater. One of the leading real estate men of New York has appraised the value of the entire completed property at $8,950,000. This sum gives a total value to the corporation's assets upon completion of the building and installation of fixtures of over $10 million. That alone assures the safety of the investment in Class A stock, even if the business itself, the goodwill of Jones' name and the contract with entertainers and producing companies are valued at nothing. It is a well-known fact that real estate values are increasing rapidly in this section. The conservative estimate of Mr. Green was made early in 1925, and it is not unlikely that the property today would be appraised at a considerably higher figure. With the continued uptown movement of the theatrical business, this site should become one of the most valuable in the entire district. 7. Earnings. The management of the Blank Theater estimates the annual net income to be $2,105,875 after the payment of all operating expenses, including insurance, city and federal taxes, depreciation and mortgage interest, and amortization. This sum is equivalent to over 4.8 times the dividend requirements of the Class A stock, and indicates that approximately $4 would be available each year as dividends on each share of the common stock. This estimate is not based upon a capacity house for every performance, but upon only one half the capacity of the giant theater. If it can be found that the theater can be kept filled every day in the year, the earnings will be correspondingly larger. The Blank Theater is not like an ordinary business which has to build up a patronage over a period of time. The first night it is open, thousands will be attracted. The novelty of the new building and the popularity of Jones will be sufficient. As it turned out, he was right, so we let him persuade us into helping him put over another issue, which proved to be no better than some of those on which we had burned our fingers in the past. From then on, we left such offers severely alone. While we were waiting for the results of these circulars, we wrote for him another letter, which outlines a method of placing a new country club on its feet, in a way different enough from the ordinary to be interesting. Here it is. Will you give me a little information about yourself? Just your favorite form of sport or recreation. We are getting together a little group not to exceed 400 of men who stand high enough in the business or professional world to be able to take a bit of time off now and then for real outdoors. For hunting and fishing, for boating and swimming, for riding, golfing, and tennis, off where they are not overrun by the casual weekend mob, yet close enough to reach their offices by train or motor within a couple of hours. Just listen. 5,000 acres of hunting preserve that has been posted and patrolled for 27 years. Adjoining an additional 5,000 acres of wooded state land. A lake that has been liberally stocked with fish for years and never opened to the public. 2 excellent trout streams. Duck and wild geese, deer and other game in abundance. A 9-hole golf course over high rolling country. 2 tennis courts. Good boating. Fine swimming. Miles and miles of wooded lanes for horseback. A clubhouse and wonderful sites for permanent camps. That is Moon Mere. A playground for millionaires. Only we are not looking for millionaires. There will be some among us, of course, but this is not a money-making scheme. It is a real effort to get together a group of interesting, congenial people of the type, socially and professionally, that you will be happy to be with. The cost will be the smallest part of it. And for that very reason, every name proposed will be subjected to the very closest scrutiny. Your name has been suggested as one interested in outdoor sports and at the same time of such standing as to pass the most captious board of governors. I have prepared a booklet, beautifully illustrated, that gives the details of this natural playground. As many details as a mere booklet can give of the wonders of hill and lake, stream and forest. It is expensive, so we printed no more than are actually needed. While they last, the enclosed card will bring one to you without cost and without obligation. May I send it? Sincerely yours. P.S. The membership of Moonmere is limited to less than 400. When that number is completed, the books will automatically close, so it is important that you use the enclosed card at once. While stocks offered by mail do not seem to turn out well on many occasions, if ever there was a place where good mail literature is sorely needed, this is it. A deadlier lot of stuff was never put in the name of advertising than most of the pieces we have seen, purported to describe financial issues. Of course, it is all done in the name of dignity, so it cannot to such subterfuges as finding the motives that will make act, or working out a clever approach, or any of the other we consider necessary in selling so ordinary a thing as a book or a coat. Dignity. Whenever anyone springs that word on us, we feel like Patrick's Day Irishman who has just run into an Orange Men's parade. Dignity is a cloak for every jackass in high position. Dignity screen behind which every incompetent tries to hide. Dignity an excuse for lack of initiative and progressiveness, for complacent stagnation. It is no more effective in selling stock than it would be in offering. And if you want to see how successful it is in offering, turn back to our first offer on Wells' Outline of History and what the difference in results is between the dignified letter and in any of those others that forgot all about dignity but were interesting. The friend referred to above had offered his stock in the usual way, and judging from the results, it had attained the usual of dignity. No one even knew it existed. So we rewrote the in of what we conceived to be the interesting way, and there were as different with stock as with Wells' history. Here, first page of the rewritten circular. In the next chapter, we shall show you a campaign aimed at the executives of the biggest businesses in America to see if we cannot show that they are no more concerned over dignity than you or we. It is interest you want, and it is interest they want. And it is only when you interest them that they will read or order. And that is the end of chapter 22. If you would like to grab your copy of the Robert Collier letter book, click the link in the description and you will find it available in German, Spanish, and French, alongside many other fundamental marketing books. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more direct response content. See you in the next one.